10 toes down. Tryna fill up stadiums, minimum sold out. Mind, body, and soul. Got a heart full of gold. They can never hold me down. I keep my name on the low. How wild, my opponent been trying to chase for miles. The distance between looking like the West now. In my stamina adding up from setback, standing up. Look crazy, they see me and start pulling out their cameras. Tell them grab your pen, I'm giving lessons out. I'm getting bread, you won't worry about impression counts. Nah, you don't got a clue or even a single sense about having potential and trying to pull the legend. We got big bags, they got big problems. Oh, they been mad that we been got it. I turn a big drain to a big profit. I turn a big drain to a big profit. We got big bags, they got big problems. Oh, they been mad that we been got it. I turn a big drain to a big profit. I turn a big drain to a big profit. Let's go. Ay, out here on a money mission. Throwing shade, trying to block the vision. What? Too much on the line, no, I can't be timid. They see the work, gotta hate, we waiting. Okay. Yeah, I know they notice me, you notice me. Hey, can't say no to me. Sitting pretty at the top where I'm supposed to be. They wanna hate, I'm at their neck like a rosary. We got big bags, they got big problems. Oh, they been mad that we been got it. I turn a big drain to a big profit. I turn a big dream to a big profit. We got big bags, they got big problems. Oh, they been mad that we been got it. I turn a big drain to a big profit. I turn a big dream to a big profit. Let's go. Big drain to a big profit. Big drain to a big. We got big bags, they got big problems. Oh, they been mad that we been got it. I turn a big drain to a big profit. I turn a big drain to a big profit. We got big bags, they got big problems. Oh, they been mad that we been got it. I turn a big drain to a big profit. I turn a king, I'm a god, yeah. I'm a beast, I'm in charge, yeah. Off the leash, I'm a monster. Promise I'ma conquer anything I want to. Yeah, I'm a king, I'm a god, yeah. I'm a beast, I'm in charge, yeah. Off the leash, I'm a monster. Promise I'ma conquer anything I want to. Yeah, off the leash, I'm a monster. Promise I'ma conquer anything I want to. Yeah, off the leash, I'm a monster. Promise I'ma conquer anything I want to. Yeah. I'm a beast, so I feast on every crown on the floor. I shake them up, then I run and take them down like a pro. They hear me coming, but can't stop it, so they begging for mercy. I catch them lurking, creeping early to the ground, they all go. Yeah. I'm the leader, the dream. I got the power to devour the evil machine. They acting sour and them cowards, I feeble it seems. Around the town, I'm the man, I can do anything. In the dark, I shine. I make them all lose, they might. They know that I'm the truth, I rise. To a level they can reach, you know that in the dark, I shine. I make them all lose, they might. They know that I'm the truth, I rise. Into a level they can reach, I'm the king, huh? King, huh? King, huh? King, huh? I'm a king, I'm a god, yeah. I'm a beast, I'm in charge, yeah. Off the leash, I'm a monster. Promise I'ma conquer anything I want to. Yeah, I'm a king, I'm a god, yeah. I'm a beast, I'm in charge, yeah. Off the leash, I'm a monster. Promise I'ma conquer anything I want to. Yeah, Teddy kids lost a father. Hotter than some lava, make us sweat like in a sauna. Bright up in the summer, I can do this how I wanna. I done told you I had one, you now it's karma, and I promise. And Teddy kids, I'm the father. Hotter than some lava, make them sweat like in a sauna. Bright up in the summer, I can do this how I want to. I done told you I had one, you now it's karma, and I promise time to turn up. I'm a king, I'm a god, yeah. I'm a beast, I'm in charge, yeah. Off the leash, I'm a monster. Promise I'ma conquer anything I want to. Yeah, I'm a king, I'm a god, yeah. I'm a beast, I'm in charge, yeah. Off the leash, I'm a monster. Promise I'ma conquer anything I want to. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Pacific Championship Series, and you are watching the season 2023 Kickoff, where we take you across the globe in a marathon to showcase what's new, what's exciting, and what is returning. I'm going to be your host and play-by-play today, Clement Chu, and with me, the ever-so-handsome Frank Nystar. How are you doing? How are you enjoying season 13?
It's been, really exciting. Preseason was wild. Love the changes to some things. Of course, other things we gotta learn a little bit more, but we've got a very cool format. I think a lot of other people have also seen some of it from the other leagues.
Definitely. It's not going to be super serious, but these players are playing for the chance at immortality and an in-game emoji dedicated to them. We're going to run through the format really quickly. 2 teams selected by Team Zod and Team Nash, analysts to PSG and J Team formerly, and there will be blind pick matches. No bans, champions pick cannot be picked again. And if we do end up with a 2-0 situation, we're going to head on to 1v1 showdown matches. So it's bound to be tons of fun, a format that you're not going to see in the regular season, with a lot of star players coming from the home region.
Certainly a lot of excitement as far as the players that will be playing in the game. All of these players actually do have Worlds experience, except for one, but we can dive into that once the player rosters do get to be pulled up. A little bit unlucky.
Yeah, we do have a great selections of players right here, coming mainly from our top 3 teams here. We have Beyond Gaming representatives coming in. We have them from Flying Oyster, I think a name that everyone will remember if they did watch Worlds in 2022. But, you know, I do want to kind of go over the big plotline changes here in the Pacific Championship Series. First off, we're actually making the Pacific count because we are bringing in the LCO for the playoffs here. 2 teams coming in the postseason to kind of shake things up. 6 teams will still be coming in from the Southeast Asia and, of course, the Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau region. But now we have that extra kick of spice coming down from the south of the globe.
Yeah, and I really like that format change just to increase more competitiveness at the top level, right? And it really does push both of these regions a little bit further forward. So we get to see the first roster as Team Zod, rest of the top lane, Kongre, Jungle, Minji, Shun, Kino, all of these players having Worlds experience, and you know, mix of a lot of veteranship on this team, and then you got Minji and Shun, you know?
I think what a lot of people are going to recognize is Kongre and Minji now playing in different jerseys. Minji going over to J-Team this season, and Kongre now confirmed going over to Beyond Gaming. We do have a lot of roster rumors. Outside of the rosters the teams themselves have confirmed, we're going to treat them as to be announced. So just a heads up right here. But obviously, if they're wearing the rosters here, then we're going to treat them as you know, kind of on their teams for now. There are a couple of players like, you know, Gemini and Kino that are kind of an impending situation. This might be their last game, we don't know, but hopefully they're going to give us a great performance regardless. Moving on to Team Nash, we got top lane Lee Kai coming in from Beyond Gaming, Gemini in the jungle, Yuba, which should not surprise anyone, is actually just Uniboy, and then Wako and Enso in the bot lane.
Yeah, though, as I referenced to earlier, the only person that hasn't gotten a chance at Worlds is Enzo in this group of 10 players, and gotta say the PSG jerseys looking kind of fly with the gray bit of colors.
I do like that casual smart type of vibe. You know, it looks like a tie if you're looking from afar. You can wear it to places. But I think a huge thing about this season that's got me excited is that PSG roster, because they blew up their entire existing roster. 5 new players coming in. You have Ozzy in the top, Usha in the jungle position, Pretender coming back to the team, Yuba, which formerly known as Uniboy, already there, and then Wako and Woody on the team here as well. So a great mix of the best up-and-coming talents and also your veterans.
Into our first draft here. This is going to be exciting because, of course, I think both you and I can expect we're going to see some sort of Fiora, we're going to see some sort of Cassante in this first game, and it's really going to be the second and possibly third game that we really get to see the weird and wacky stuff come out.
We kind of talked about this in pregame, but since you can't pick the same champions again throughout the best of 3, we kind of figured that the first game is about going for the strongest picks in the meta. You know, the Cassantes, the Fioras, like you mentioned, and then game 2 is going to be the do or die signature champion game. So I expect to see, you know, a lot of the stronger parts of patch 13.1, which actually just came out today. So I kind of want to ask you, as you know, our color and our analyst here, what do you see as the strongest go-to picks on this patch?
Really, it's all about that Jax rework, right? The mini Jax rework is really just a massive buff to that top lane 1v1 dueling perspective, and he's also very good in team fights if you're able to get his ult on multiple targets. Incredibly thorough. And it should be really fun to watch, and I expect him to be especially prevalent in our first patch of the split, as we get to see all these players really just having, fists out. They're ready to fight. Apparently they're ready to fight in person.
I hope not. If that really happens, my bet is on Kongyue. The best physical fighter, of course. Used to go someone else, but we can mention that later. Still not getting any of the champions in the select just yet. There are no bans. This is supposed to be a straight blind pick, so maybe we're only going to see the champions at the very end? That seems a little bit odd here.
Could still be regular pick, because the other leagues have been haven't been blind pick. Rather, they just do a standard draft.
Yeah,
and that just might be the case here, where there just isn't banned, so we're just waiting for timer to run through.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, there are no bans, just again going back to our format here, but they're just waiting it out, and we are gonna get the Twitch. We've just seen this from the LPL. What do you feel about it?
Well, I'm totally down to just come out with the fun stuff right at the get-go. Sometimes there's also the player pre-ban, right? Where they come in and say, all right, we're just going to agree that we're not going to play these champions. And that might be the case here, where they just said, all right, let's just take the Fiora off the table. Let's take the Kassa off the table. We'll take the Yumi off the table. And let's just go into the funky stuff. And I am loving the start of this.
These are not champions that you expect these players to really come up with. Oh, the patch 13.1 Jax coming through, like you mentioned. Zeri's still there. We saw the most likely the Twitch support going AP, as we've seen in the LPL. And then on the other side, Gemini coming up with a powerhouse in patch 13 with the Elise, a lot of early game power in that Pyke. I saw not a champion that we have really seen Enzo play on. And then Beauty Boy going for the Yasuo. So this is definitely, it feels a bit more like style over substance for these two squads right now.
Yeah, and I'm definitely all for it. Though, initially I will say Team Zod coming out with a little bit more power, right? You have the Zeri that's going to scale really well. You have the Jax that's just, I expect to be an absolute monster on 13-1. And for Team Nash, a little bit more fun, but certainly if you get Pyke going, then the game definitely can get out of control. We don't even know if this Yasuo, perhaps it just goes into that bottom lane as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. We've seen a lot of these kill lanes just happen. And if they're against a Twitch, it might not even be that hard to find a target right here.
Yeah, and also when you have that Twitch support, there's going to be a lot of times when you're just playing 1v2. So it could present opportunities to try and get a kill onto a Zeri who doesn't really pack a lot of damage to harass a lane like Pyke Yasuo out. And it also opens opportunities for Pyke himself to just start roaming around, which is, he loves to try and do that as well. So I think we'll see our supports really just explore Summoner's Rift quite a bit.
Yeah, there's still a couple of the pocket picks. We should talk about them. Shin, I think his most famous pick for sure is the Draven. Kino for sure is going to come down to the set. But this time around, we're really looking for the jungler in the mid lane right here. So if you know Minji, he loves to play assassins. If there's someone that's going to build the Axiom arc, I feel like it has to go to Minji. And for Kongyue, he's had a long career on these AP sort of carry junglers. I think Diana is really something that stands out inside his repertoire.
Yep.
So kind of expecting those 2 picks, but on the other side for Team Nash, Wako going for the buffed attack speed in the Xayah coming in on this patch.
Yeah, getting a little bit more attack speed. Actually, quite a bit of attack speed here on the Xayah. So these players have gotten to try out the champions on tournament round on 13-1 a little bit earlier than what we got on live. Probably because of the fact that, you know, the event was coming up, so they did release it earlier on TR. And we'll see how much experience some of these players did actually put in, because, you know, sometimes you want to, if you really want to become immortalized inside the game you play, hey, bring out all the stops.
This is a fun one. We've got Blue Kane most likely coming up onto the Rift. It's been tearing up in solo queue. Lots of abusers right now. On the other hand, Lika just going with a top lane Gragas. You know, this is, I guess it's a tried and true pick against the Jax, but a little less exciting, I would say.
Yeah, just a little bit here. I'm interested to see what kind of build he'll go for. Gragas, of course, very flexible with his build paths, and there's a lot of options for him, right? You can go for the Jax show, you could go for
it's
the Everfrost. You could even go for like a Rod of Ages. I'm down for that.
True, that would be spicy, you know. I think we should talk a little bit about some of these champions, maybe kind of the patch. First one, starting off with that Jax. I think the most important thing is he has a new passive. He actually has now a hobby of fishing. So if your father never took you out to the lake, you can now do it yourself with Jax. It doesn't count as a real weapon, but it's there and you can get some gold.
Yeah. And the other big change is the fact his ultimate now isn't just like sheer defensive stats right off the bat. It actually has to hit champions in order to get those stats, and it can ramp up quite quickly. So in some of these team fights, if he's able to get access to a lot of targets with that, he just becomes an absolute menace. So yeah, definitely the Jax will be something to watch. And mid Zeri that I'm seeing here, or are we just getting some more lane swap shenanigans?
We did have on like the official starting rosters, the player positions were actually all scrambled. So this could be coaching decision here, but I still think that both of these AD carries are going to go into the bot lane. That would be my guess. Which players are going into the bot lane? Well, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, just give me some AP Zeri. Oh, we probably have AP Twitch. Just give me all the long range AP champs right here. AP Zeri, AP Lux. That sounds like so much anti-fun for Team Nash.
And we are going to go into game. It's been so long since we came back to the Pacific Championship Series. We've been waiting for this since August, and now we are on into game. ARAMs to start things off. Rest going in with the counter-strike is going to get massive amounts of stun. First Blood does go over to the Twitch, and they're still fighting it. Wako going forward, but he's trapped right there. Will fall down without burning the flash. And overall, it's a 2-for-1. Team Zod coming out on top.
Oh my god, what a start to the game. I love it. Having the line here. There were so many games that I saw in some of these other regions that didn't come out with the level 1. It's like, come on. For one game, surely you have to find that level 1, and here we do it. Kino actually keeping Yubao out of this. It's actually kind of important because of the extra little other damage that could have splashed on to the rest of this. You can just see the target focus there from J-Team, or not J-Team, but from Team Zod, just a little bit better based on their positioning. So great start for them, and we do have, of course, the mid Zeri. So yes, we do indeed have some of that positional changes, which I think is really, really fun and cool, and exactly what we should see from a showcase match like this.
Yeah, really bring out all the stops in terms of like switching up the meta. We actually see a two-man in the mid lane right here with Kino's roaming up early. You know, he's playing that AP. He wants to get those stacks in early. Oh, actually, he's actually going to go for the AD build. So, not the stuff that we have seen throughout all of preseason here. Kino coming back into his lane. Going to get a couple of shots out onto Enzo. But the binding also lands, and that does force a lot of damage onto him. Enzo trying to escape. Going to go over. The stun is flashed away. Korea now coming in. Blue Kane looking for the red buff tick, but he's not going to find it just yet. The channel goes through. Kino is now caught out behind the minion wave. Is he gonna fall? He's 2 auto attacks away. He has to flash away.
Oh,
but Enzo overextends, and Kongyue finds that kill. Now Gemini coming in to kind and remedy this situation. But he's not going to find anything just yet. The root goes to another burst. Should find the kill once more. Team's on. Off to a 4-1 start. Meanwhile, taking a look at the mid lane right here. I'm just going to keep on talking until I can hear Frank. So,
yeah, we'll see how this right here. But, you know,
Gemini coming back in. Kino trying to run away. The repel comes on through, and there's nowhere for Kino to go on to that one. At least Gemini is going to get something back here.
Shouldn't just saying, hey, I'm not going to hit my former teammate, you know? I'm not going to hit my actual teammates team, so you can just go ahead, have the Twitch, have the rat, take them.
Actually is going to go back for the AP build. You know, I was just thinking kind of weird things right there. Of course, we are going to see the Nasher's Tooth coming through. He has massive ratios on that passive and the E as well. In the meantime, J-Team now roaming around in this bot lane, just kind of like we talked about. This Pyke is going to be all over the map, and both of these teams are playing towards almost kind of a double mid setup here.
It's actually really interesting. Now Kino's up top.
Oh, Lee Kai still does have the flash. Is going to have to burn it. Expunge nearly takes him down.
He's here.
Still going. Kongyue, can he find the W? Does get the W, but it's not enough to kill. Lee Kai gets out with the happy hour.
Oh my lord. And this is why you should always remember to pop your potions, kids. Actually, wins in Kino, you might get a surprise.
Oh, Gemini just hiding and waiting for him. The junglers are going to do a little bit better in this roam, and now it's Shun's turn. He doesn't have any defensive summoners left anymore. Can Wako find the knock-up? The Ignite goes down. They don't find the stun, and Enzo is going to pay with his life for this one.
That's
Shun gets the double.
There we go. Shun. He only has 12 CS, Clement. But you know what he has? He has a lot of heart, and he has 3 kills on top.
Yeah, he's been getting a takedown for every 2 CS, so I would say that was pretty worth for a Lux here. And I do want to see if he's going to go for some of the newer mage builds. Kino now into the mid lane, lots of action here. Yuba has to pop the Feather Storm, and once again, Kino just can't find a brig. Gemini has got him in his sights. The Elise is going to take down the roaming rat once more. We're going to take a look at this bot lane. I think critically, Enzo just did not find that stun. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, he got punished pretty hard for that whiff there, and it cost him 2 just to pull off that dive. Of course, remember, these are all aren't going to be playing with each other during it, so synergy not always on you know, the tightest ship here, and those mistakes are all part of the show.
You can see at least Gemini is having a lot of fun on Team Natch. He's super happy with being able to just judge where Kino is on the map. We're gonna have a ward here, so Lee Kai knows about the jungler, but he doesn't know about Kino. Okay, so now he sees him and will back away so far. We are quickly approaching level 6 for the Jax, so we might be able to dive a little bit more into that one. But for now, it's all about can Shin survive? They are not giving this Rookie of the Year any reprieve right here. Going in once again, this time Enzo is going to find all the crowd control he needs and a clean kill into the bot lane. Meanwhile, Yubao, formerly known as Unit Boy, has to ride away from this Kino. Poison ticking down, but he should be fine. And Team Nash comes out to a slight lead in the bot side.
Yeah, overall, everything is right. The gold is even, the kills are even. Great to our showcase. And this is what we want to kick off to. No wanted beatdowns here, although if you look at some of these numbers, they are a little bit lopsided. Which this mid-game all exciting, as we're gonna have a extremely fed spider. And yeah, if this rat to a spider, usually, you know, you give the animal a slight advantage against insects, but yeah, I don't think I give him much of a chance this time.
It's not even just the rat. There's no one on the team of Zod that can actually take that burst damage from the Elise, and this is why Gemini, you know, he was talking about a lot of times about kind of the potential for retirement, but I really want him around, and we're going to be taking a look at the player gold coming in from AWS, sponsored by them. And we have Gemini at the top of the rankings right now with over 4,000 gold. Can they find the rat is the question right here. Kino actually managed to sneak away from the brush. Has to flash. Gemini hot on his tails. Is going to repel upwards, and level 4 Twitch stands no chance. Ooh, flash forward. White flag comes out. Kongir's fine.
It's going to be fine, but Kino has not been in... Well, I mean, Minji, he was playing Zeri, so he's plenty safe in that regard, but Gemini is just slowly, but quick taking over this game. 5-1, completely ignoring camps. Like, when you come into 3.1 and after all those preseason changes, expect, okay, there's going to be a lot of farming.
Rest might find himself in a lot of trouble. Enzo doesn't have to execute just yet. Rest has to flash out, and he does dodge away from the cocoon as well. But where can he go? Kongir now coming up to help his top laner. They find Enzo, a 3v1 on the bottom side, and they do get the kill. Yubao not enough to impact this one, and a good reprieve once more. Team Zod, Team Nash going in 7 versus 7 again. This is just amazing how close these two teams are. Kongir gonna come in, but gonna find the cocoon to the face, so not a lot being done right here. Beyond Gaming now taking a look at that Herald, and doesn't look like they're gonna be confident enough to take it just yet.
Yep. Herald, you know, at least some quite change, right? Have Herald. However, the Herald damage isn't as high. So even if you do take it, you're not guaranteed those 2 plates, which I think change a couple of these strategies when it comes to approaching. You want to fight for Rift Herald. Now you have to take a more mesh. Know that, well, even if we do get Rift Herald, it's not that 4 2 plates which plate get buffed, and you buff. This is only low.
Yeah, Kino might be signing himself for a lot of trouble. That was a very dicey situation. We have the lightning crash coming through from Minji. Can he find Gemini? That would be a huge shutdown if he does get the kill. Cocoon goes wide. Kongir's still chasing after Enzo, and he will find the support here. Now Yubao is next on the menu. He does get tagged by the Zeri laser. He will get away just fine, and I don't think Kongir is going to face check that, right? He's not going to face check that. Right? Okay, never mind. Kongir is actually going to try and go in.
Show us! You know, he's got, I mean, he's a little bit further along with his snacks, right? He's got only 15 left before he upgrades, whereas Gemini, much further away. So at the very least, there is a slight advantage in that regard. He also has That completed Prowler's Claw, which is now this is where the fun really starts for Kongre here, and you know, he's really tempting fates because he is not doing a whole lot, and when you are the AP twin, you just need to find some way to dig up some EXP. That way, at the very least, you can hit level 6.
I would beg to differ. He's been doing a great job at feeding Gemini. It's already 5-0 and 2, so don't just say Kino isn't doing things. He's doing things for the other team. And great find here by Enzo. It does force Kongre to use the ultimate. Flash away, repel, going forward. They're going to find the execute. And Kino just cannot stand up to anyone at this point in the game. Team Nash get a clean 2-kill and the entire topside. Now Res has to run away. Some great time to put on dancing shoes and showcase what Jax does have for us here. Let's see, he does have the ultimate and he can dish out a lot of damage, but he has to go in first here. The Ignite is going to take him down, and unfortunately he is just outnumbered in the topside.
Yeah, tough luck for the Jax pick, which of course we did project to be a very, very powerful pick on 13. That, you know, not much you can do in a 1v3 situation, and you aren't exactly super fed on the Jax. 1v3 quite yet.
Can he get away? Okay, at least he's fine. That's all I want to see. It's 13 minutes into the game, and Twitch is still level 5. That's all you need to know about how this game has been going.
This is a completed item.
True. There is a bright side to this.
Yeah. Say the same about Pike. That's right. Can't.
You are absolutely correct here. You're absolutely correct. But I would say in terms of game impact, well, actually both of them have been impacting the same side. So I guess that's fine. Minji now going to take a 1v2 in the mid lane. Going to be absolutely fine just dodging away from those bone skewers here. And in the meantime, Gemini going to be taking down that Herald. Big change in the preseason. The first charge of Herald now only does 1500 damage to the turret. So as you said, you do have to plan those out a little bit more. Rest going in, and Kongre again gets caught in his own jungle. Easy snipe here. Great 2-man action from Team Nash. Oh!
Supports get their revenge. 6, and what a spike it is. A little one-sided here.
Yeah, that was unfortunate positioning on the map for Team Zod, as Enzo just casually picking up a ton of cash. So I don't think the game is as even as it used to be just 5 minutes ago. We're really seeing the roam coming out from Gemini, and look at that, the Magi's coming in for the veteran here. Meantime, Kongre gonna go with the blue cane, as we did predict here. He also has the Gust Walker, kind of a niche build for junglers here, but you really want to get all that blue stuff and all that movement speed with this build.
Yeah, the build is a lot of fun. Damage. The only issue is into, you know, really anything, because there's just so much damage all across the board from both teams that it is definitely dangerous to be face checked. Checking is your enemy. No vision in the bush is the enemy.
Ooh, Shun does have to flash right here. Enzo going in, does land the stun, but Minji stands his ground and is able to save his bot lane. Now Kino, I'm not sure he wanted to take that one, as Likai just casually finishes him off with the barrel combo. Enzo again with another bone skewer is going to force Kongre into a bad position here. Kongre going to try to find the kill, but just gets executed. Meanwhile, Likai coming in from the back line. Minji actually manages to find one back onto Enzo, but overall a huge win for Team Nash, and we're seeing that snowball machine just keep on going.
It is definitely a bit of a pain right now, and the only thing left to do is, of course, just have Rest do his Rest thing, you know.
Wako going in for some style points, and there's nothing Kino can do.
Ah!
You guys used to be on the same team.
Revenge.
Shun finally gets a say. I feel like Team Zod really needs to say sorry to Shun. They put him on the corner of the map, and the rest of it just did not hold up. You know, he actually held his own in the 1v3 in the bot side for quite a while, but the rest of the map, it really not something to write home about.
It's definitely been talking for now the second-year player of Shun, and he's doing all he can. Like, he took a 4-2-3 scoreline. It's not too shabby. Unfortunately, everyone has been mostly on fire. Even Minji'd himself on the Zeri hasn't had a ton of impact, even with the score of 3-1-2. It's hard. So when you're a mid lane 80 carry, there's only so much roaming you can do, and yeah, like, it's not much of a fight as he kind of gets corner, he gets offered up, and Kino, you know, extra desserts, I guess. Not really a meal anymore.
They have some great synergy right there. We saw the Gemini smite as the Bone Skewer was just charging up right there. Now we have Enzo and Wako going on another escapade into the top lane, but this time Enzo might have bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Rest is standing his ground, but does have to do it against a 1v3, and it's just not going to work for him.
Hey, at the very least, Team Zod, they're really just trying to push as many things as possible. Right, 3 people go up there, get the kill up top. Well, at the very least, Shun bot lane trying to push in the lane himself. He gets that tower, so they're still finding the turn goal. Now it just comes down to a matter of what can the rest of the team continue to churn out while Team Nash is murdering one of them on the side lane.
We'll see if Shun can find a good angle right here. He does spot out Gemini on the side and dodges out on one skill shot. Cocoon still lands and the burst damage goes through. That just feels kind of unfair right there. I have to say, I feel like Team Nash even has a better team fight if you just look at that Yasuo combo. We haven't seen it with Gragas this game, but they could pull that off anytime they want. Coming in, Enzo just going to pick people off with the skewers at this point. So much damage. Korea going into a 1v4. He flashes in, gets exhausted, and it was one auto attack off. Enzo flashes the white flag, telling him it's time to quit. And before 20 minutes, we have Team Nash knocking down the door of Team Zod.
This is definitely not the start Team Zod would like to get out to. So we'll see if they find the changes in game 2. Maybe they commit themselves to bring out the Cassante, but
what are you trying to do, Kino? Oh, but Shun gets a say in right there. A huge blast from him does finally take down Yubao, and that was a big shutdown too. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Rest is gonna get a little bit more gold. Does also get the reward bounty back. Rest flashes in, and that was very optimistic from him. He's not gonna get into that. We're gonna take a look at the gold difference powered by AWS right here, all the way going towards Team Nash. A big slide of red, as we just saw.
For moments, it looked good for Zod, right? Name level 1. Afterwards, yeah, not great. Besides Shun, Shun's been awesome.
And we do have now a 4v3 developing. Everyone coming down for this fight, and Rest is actually just standing his ground. But in comes the Gragas Yasuo combo. That's what I was talking about. Huge burst damage. They take Shun right off the bat. But Minji is full health and he's dealing a lot of damage, but he has to get away from Yubao standing into the tri-brush. Rest goes back in for a pickup onto Lee Kai, but Uniboy cannot be stopped. Gemini also coming up with a double kill, and they beat back the teleport fight into the bot lane. Team Nash now full control, looking for that second inhibitor. Kongyue flashes the white flag I think he knows that his time is up, and Team Nash are marching on.
This could just be the first Nexus here. There doesn't look like to be a whole lot of wave clear coming in from double AD carries. You've got Minji, and you've got an 8. None of those champions are going to provide you with a ton of wave clear, but the one thing is that Lux. So 22 minutes of short death timers. Looks like the side of they're going to hold on a little bit longer, but it ain't look pretty.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at this replay again. It's very clear that these players wanted to fight it out. Look at Rest as he flashes the emotes, stands his ground. But Lekai ain't having none of that.
Yeah. Very, very slick action coming in. And Shun does get some decent damage down, and it's really because of that it allows the team to salvage one kill back. Unfortunately, they are able to find in that situation, and Nash out of a 7k lead, so they're firmly in role here. Not just a gold lead, but having the extra 4 towers. There's so much extra pressure exerted on the map, especially when you have that immediate kill threat, or just a super hyper fed Elise who can just one tap anyone.
We're gonna look for a fight here. I think Shun is fishing for some of those light bindings. He still has the damage, the Shadow Flame's there. He's got his 2 items. If he can catch anyone, that would still be a large amount of damage. Beyond Gaming, they just can't get the skill shots to land. Enzo now going for the Bone Skewer. Not gonna find Kino this time, but every time he charges that up, I just get so nervous. It's great to see Enzo on this champion. Definitely not something that he's played a lot of in terms of the 2022 season, but something that he's showcasing he can definitely play more of, I would say, in Season 13. J-Team going to start the Baron off here. Kongir looking for an angle. They do have a lot of long-range poke, but it's not quick enough. They don't get it. Blue Kane dies atop the wall from another Gragas combo, and Beyond Gaming are on the run. Charging forward, Kino still firing away, but Shin is going to fall trapped against the terrain as Gemini just hunts him down. Only 2 members left. Rest is going forward. He's going to go for the 1v4 hero play. Gets a bit of damage off, but Wako is going to finish him off. Minji going to go over the wall. Let's see how far he can go. How much time can he buy for Team Zod as he tries to get everyone away from their base. He's dealing lots of damage here, actually. Minji just having a bit of fun. He knows he's delaying the death timers, and that's all he really needs to do at this point. The game will not end. Minji will fall, but he's had a heroic effort at elongating the game. Beyond Gaming finally going to pick him off. They want the kills. They have that bloodthirst over finishing off the base.
The side of Nash really just maximizing their time on the... You haven't practiced a whole lot together. This is a great time to just build that space.
Ooh, take a look at this damage provided to us by Amazon Web Services. We do have tons of damage coming out from that Xayah build. You know, not even really making use of the extra attack speed. She's just going for more of the assassin build this time. Now Team Nash going to head straight into the base. Kino can't even deal any damage through that wind wall. This has not been a fun game for the Twitch here. Nearly dies to the combo. Yuba actually forced to use his ultimate, and Shun is going to tag him across the wall. This is a 5v4. This could be the chance for CFO to stop this Baron empowered push here. The Lekai gonna ward off in the front, just stopping everyone. Execute comes on through, but they don't get Korea. Korea actually manages to get out alive. Enzo gonna finish off the job over the wall though, but Minji also going to get that kill. So we still have a 3v3 on the map. The fight goes on. Let's see if Shun can find some of those critical skill shots. He's got the damage, he's got the burst on his team, and it looks like Team Nash cannot finish the job.
I mean, is finishing the job, or is it just continuing to play with your... I think that's the real question here, and it's definitely a mix of both. As Natting one more,
Hello,
yeah, and
Rest.
Rest.
Oh, does dodge out, but Everfrost will still tag him. Let's see if Gemini can have the damage in. Minji gonna walk on through, but this is so hard to fight through all of the crowd control here. Yuval just ranging people away. He does have the, I believe he does have the Sorelio's Grudge already, so he's slowing people with those clean cuts. Now Rest is gonna go in and find him. Shun with another huge blast does finally get Yuval down. Shun is holding his team together right now. Lee Kai, they're looking for some engages. The Wombo combo is temporarily offline, but that won't be for long. Shun does have the poking advantage, and he's making the most use of it. Now they're coming back onto the map. Coleman looking for something on the side. But no, Kino goes down again for his 13th death. Unlucky Twitch play today. Beyond Gaming going to scoot out just fine, but Rest going in with the 3-man stun. Wako now countering with his own 3-man suspension into the mid-air. Likai following up with some damage, does find the stuns before he goes down. Now it's Rest against the world. Shin also finds a great light binding to cut off the Wako, and we have CFO now salvaging what looked to be a very poor situation. Kino laughing with a sigh of relief right there. I caught him on the screen. Actually, he's up to 15 deaths, not even 13. Scratch that. He's beyond unlucky at this point.
Kino, there's not much to say here. He's just some, you know, the boomer hands. They just can't get. We get to see the replay. Honestly, if the side of Zod would drag this Tinian out here with the wave here that is providing, you're starting to see, you know, Rest could start getting, you know, he was able to mop up a couple of gold bounties at the end of being able to get any sort of income. To be massive, does have fair amount of CS to his name. That could be a ray of hope. Shun is just really one man god right now.
Yeah, I do want to point out that his build is basically almost pure tank at this point, coming in from the Jax, and I think that works out because Team Nash is all about burst damage. They don't really have that much sustain, so if you could survive, you could make use of the 2-hit ultimate passive right now from Jackson in Season 13. Maybe that worked, but the combo incoming. Wako going to find Minji. Not going to be able to finish things off, though. Kino now standing onto the front as bait. The rest of his team getting tons of damage, and this could be Rest chance go in. They finally do snipe off the spider. First death for Gemini, and into the back line they go. Going right into the back, just slowing everyone down. Rest finds another kill there, and they're not going to let these people leave. We do have a kill from Wako, but he will not be able to escape this one. And so the only remaining member onto Team Nash, it is Zod doing it. Is Rest going to save this composition? And so has to run away, and he will be able to do so. 3v1, Baron take right now about this one. Enzo still has the ultimate, so the executes could be coming through, but he has to be crafty.
Yeah, Minji's kind of low here. Only take hook.
And so going in, Shun body blocking here, even finds the binding, and Zod come roaring back, cutting the lead from, I think, as high as 8,000 gold, now down to merely 5.
It was definitely in the past that 10k range at some point, but now scaling starting to become a factor there. You've got Jack, this is new Jackson, he is going to terrify. Shun has just done so much work for his team, keeping them upright, and okay, that's tough.
Yeah, that's going to be a Baron buff down, and it doesn't look like Team Zod's going to be able to push out this much more. So far, only Jax being able to really push his lane, and I think Team Nash might be getting a sense of urgency here as they push on through directly to the base.
Yeah, it's going to be a base push here, and they really want to try and end things here. because if this game goes for, another 5 minutes, it's hard to stop the scaling from Zod because of the fact that they have King Dragons. We're not going to get a Dragon Soul, and probably no chance of it happening at this rate, as now it's just the base. They have to force the issue somewhere from the side of Nash.
And at this point, Jax can solo anyone. He's just going to take the top lane inhibitor. Team Nash actually going for a pretty poor trade here. Now in the bot lane, they also have to run away from Blue Kane Kongyue. This is a 3v4 developing in the bot side. Team Nash backing out very tentatively. They're still looking for opportunities to pick people off. Of course, Kino has always been very tasty and actually quite easy to find on the menu here. Gemini going forward, he manages to dodge out with the repel. The fight is on now. The backline very weak. Kongyue gonna go in and just snipe off Enzo. There is no survivability on this composition. Kino gonna get his revenge. And Team Zod, they play the macro game. They play the patience. They are marching towards the base right now. Long death timers, 40 seconds on the Elise.
Is cool wild turnaround in game here of our showcase, Clement, and it looks like the turn could just look at that damage coming in from Shun.
He's coming into his own right now, has the death cap completed. Team Nash just have to hold down. They're still fighting a 3v5, so they're gonna go over the towers. They're gonna stay alive. We got a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we've been waiting for. Team Nash, you had your fun, and now you have to face Season 13 Jax, and he's going to get potentially quad hex tech breaks. That's probably the best break you could ask for a split pushing Jax. We're going to take another look at the goal difference over time, powered by AWS, and it has gone from my view is a little bit pixelated here. It looks like it's sunk by about 8,000 gold. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, but it's such a mess from that.
Yeah, basically we made a complete U-turn. Just like the shape of that, it turned completely because this roaring back. You're getting the scaling starting to kick in, right? Because Twitch get to 4 items. Absolutely unreal. How hard they scaling. You have a Jax. Yeah. Obviously, the Lux is going to slow down a little bit, but there's no one really on the side of Nash, so you're still going to be extractive. Scaling is down on the flip side.
Yeah.
Nash. The lethality, Zaya, a lethality champion. This, early game driven champion that has gotten far, but now everyone's catching up to her.
And I think everything really started with that top lane fight where we saw the combo go through. Nash didn't find a pick, and Kino was able to hold his ground with the Crown of the Shattered Queen, and they were just able to, out-sustain damage to this one. So Team Zod, they have a very clear goal on how they want to fight this one. Rest is going in to start things off. You have Blue Kane Kongyue right over the edge. They're looking to slow people with his W. More damage going on. And Team Nash are playing with a lot of pensiveness, I think. So I really see Team Nash, they have to get their wombo combo together. This is not the willy-nilly 2-man game that they could play in the early game anymore.
They're going to have some sort of coordination here because Zod is able to get just one of those Hex Tech dragons. That's just so much C stats for this squad. The attack speed and this is insane. I'm tired for Team Nash. Get that value of Hex Tech dragons. Yeah. Their value would really come from the Hex Soul, and you still need 2 to do that.
Take a look. Team Zod is going to unburstable phase right now. They just have 2 stopwatches on their mid and jungle. So the only one that's vulnerable is Shun. Let's see if Team Nash during this Baron can bait Teams out of position. Gonna get it on. West isn't here right now. Corey coming in from the back. We don't get the Baron's kill, but the fight is now on. Team Nash slowly backing away from the fight. They're just and they get Filipino and Kongre. That's what they needed to move this game on. West going to go to 1v4, but he cannot survive. Shutdown coming through, and this time Team Nash is not going to give them any more second chances. They're going in for Shin. He's caught in no man's land. He falls, and that will be the team ace. And game one now going over for Team Nash.
Look, it was an absolute barner of a game. It packed everything you could from game one of it. We had the level 1. We had that net victory presented by Mercedes.
Thank you very much to our sponsors, and thank you very much to our players that gave us what a tight game that was. It looked very back and forth from the start. We had this 4-kill lead coming over from the side of Team Zod, and then Gemini just counters every move Kino makes on the map. And then we have in the late game, they finally put together the correct CC chain combo. They caught out Kongre, they caught out Kino. I don't think Kongre even was able to get his ultimate or his stopwatch off in that instance, and that just ended the game.
Really, really tight game, and it really just boiled down to last Wombo. We were executing around the Wombo beyond very, very well. And then as the game progressed, you know, they got a little bit lackadaisical, right? So that allowed Zod to their way back.
I think if anything, I wanted to say after watching that game, it's Gemini, one more year. His contract is still pending, but after watching how he was able to catch out Twitch every single roam, please Gemini, your time is nigh up. Please stay with us for the foreseeable future at the very least. Okay, please. He's been probably the best jungler overall in the PCS throughout all of these years. You know, you could make a case for River, but Gemini is obviously the one that we have throughout all of this competition. So I just want to make sure that, you know, if this is his last, at least he's showing his best.
Yeah, the hope is he's that one last hurrah. As we can see, his skill is definitely still there. And he's just such a big name in this well with your Kongres that it would also just be such a for the PCS region if he were to.
Yeah, it would be a massive blow right here. You know, on the flip side, I do want to ask you about some of the player performances right here. We do have an MVP coming up. Who are you going to venture is going to take that one?
I mean, it's clearly Gemini, but Shun was like actually 1v9 that entire game. Left in a 1v2 bot situation, and he made the most of it, turned a 1v2, got a full kill, mind you, and was doing it for the squad. Wave clear was there. Getting picks, he was doing that too. His weak gold graph. Team Zod started out great. They had that level 1 stun. They accumulated a pretty good lead off of that. And then things went south.
It definitely did. A lot of those roams worked so well. Enzo was I think it was my mid-game MVP for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the mid to late game, I feel bad for Res. He built the way he did because they needed someone that could survive the burst. And I don't think that's the optimal Jax build necessarily, especially if you want to split push. But we're going to find out who the player of the game is, brought to us by OnePlus. And it's actually going to be Lekai from Team Nash in the top lane. The Grag is coming out. A really interesting choice right here. 5-4 and 17 in the KDA. 47% with the kill participation. And plus 53, but he did hit all of the big combos that he needed to.
Yeah, and I think that was the reason behind the MVP is the fact that they were able to only end the game because he hit that barrel and the body slam CC chain targets at the very end.
Yeah, that was a huge gamble here. I felt like he actually just threw it into the lone brush and caught out 2 members before they could really react to that one. So well-deserved from Lee Kai. And that does mean that Game 2 draft is going to be upcoming pretty soon. We had Game 1 where there was a lot of wonky stuff. So I want to ask you, how do you think that changes to Game 2? Are we going to see more serious compositions, more signature picks? What would be your take?
Yeah, obviously I think it depends on what the players kind of decided before, because clearly in this first game they already decided some things, just like mutual agreement teams that, you know, maybe that we're not playing these champions in series. So I've that case, and we're keep going into some of these funky stuff. Over on the side, they did bring out the Teemo, so maybe, you know.
All right, we'll find out if we have any more crazy picks coming up in Game 2. We'll be back shortly, right after these breaks, into another game of Season 2023 PCS Kickoff.
As you know, great innovations start in the garage. Today we are exploring Dolby Atmos in a Mercedes-Benz. Our Burmester sound system with multiple speakers transforms into a 360 fully immersive soundscape. Meaning music comes from here, here, and here. Magic, isn't it? One of many innovations by, of course,
Bring me the next shiny new thing. 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 I strike gold. Yeah, I strike lightning. Bring me the next. Bring me the next.
Welcome back to the Pacific Championship Series and our season 2023 kickoff. My name is Clement Chu, and with me is Nightstar here. We just witnessed an absolute crazy, and from PSG socials, kind of a clown fiesta game. What's your thoughts on it? What do you want to see in game 2?
Look, it was everything we dreamt for a game 1 case match. You get the level 1 shenanigans, you get absolutely dominant lead, but then you also get the extra spice at the end in the big turnaround and almost making the comeback. That's the only thing left is, the objective steal and the actual full comeback.
All right, well, we'll see what happens in game 2 right here. It really felt like the rest of the map was just kind of doing random stuff, and then the top laners stood up and tried to make things less crazy and put the house out off of fire. But game 2, just to touch on our format a little bit, we will not be picking the same champions anymore. It is going to be a no-ban game, so anything flies off onto the table. And personally, I do want to see a lot of those signature picks come through. I want to see, the crazy duelists coming in from both Lee Kai and Res for the top laners to have a little bit more impact than they did in that game. And perhaps for the mid laners to actually play in mid lane. I think that's, something that we've been waiting for a while. None of this 80 carry swap around and just push wave stuff. I want to see them just go mano a mano.
Yeah, maybe a little more spice. Of course, the Zera was a big pick from with some of those changes. Unfortunately, we don't, the Syndra specialist in mission, but we do have Yuba, who is certainly known for that himself.
Yeah, he does well with any champion that plays with spheres, with balls, and any round objects. So his Ahri, his Zoe, his Orianna, and his Syndra are all legendary. Like, this is literally his best champion pool. In the meantime, we are going to be seeing the Aurelia come through. This is something that Uniboy also played a bit in the early parts of his career. On the flip side, we do have Team Zod going with Sylas, who is a monster in the jungle. Like, I almost feel like jungle Sylas is scarier than mid lane Sylas, but we'll see what does end up. You also have the Graves that can be played in multiple lanes. Most likely still going to go for jungle though. And it does look like Gemini is going to go with the champion that he actually played the most in 2022. Very strong champion right now as well. Probably going to lock in the Viego.
Yeah, it looks like we are indeed transitioning to some of those namesake champs. Of course, for Team Zod, they would love to get to a game 3. So obviously bringing out, uncorking the stops here. Making sure that they try and get us to a game number is Ash. They've pulled out the Nivea. Nivea, of course, one of those champions that very old game and also very frustrating to play against, and honestly has been in an okay for a lot of last year, and starting out this year, maybe we can see a little bit more of it because of this.
Oh yeah, those mage changes were absolutely massive. I think mages were not a thing in the preseason, but now with Rod of Ages giving you even more AP, even more move speed, and with the Seraph's Embrace giving you back a shield again, I think a Nivea actually would work out really, really well. So I'm excited with this one. I feel like the Q does count as a sphere, so Uniboy should do all right on the champion. And then you have Karma, which also has been an interesting pick because she can be played in a lot of different positions. We've seen some crazy Heartsteel top lane Karma stuff come out as well. So still yet to be decided where this one will go.
Yeah, a lot of things can be moved around here for the Zod composition, right? Because Rest was also known for his top lane Graves last year, so it can definitely go into his hands, and you could see into the mid lane. It also screams Rest to me as well, right? Where he just goes for a super annoying tank build and just 1v0 top lane the entire time. But We've got the Ivern.
You gotta explain to me, what does this Ivern do again?
I don't know. Beats me. I am trying to figure out the theme of this composition coming from Nash, and I'm not getting it. Like everyone, right?
Babushka?
Maybe? Yeah, yeah.
I like that build, but it's not here.
Yeah, it's definitely not. And we get to see a Taric at the very end, so this is most likely a Taric support. That's the only thing we've got from position. Everything's really up in there.
Yeah, it looks like no one's a fan of AD carries anymore, so they're just gonna go with these weird champions. Karma, we've seen like Radiant Virtue being built on her as well, so there's a number of different builds. We'll see what they go for. Winter's approach on Taric is quite busted. I think Jack Show still works very well on Zac, so this is going to be a great showcase of Season 13.
Yeah, lots of variety of teams on here, and for Team Nash, they also have a lot of quirky stuff on here. It really just boils down to where they're actually going to play, because we saw in the previous game, Wako did take the Yasuo into the, even though Yasuo, he actually started out, well, actually, no. Yes, no, I'm just,
It was a Zaya going mid and Wako Yasuo bot.
Oh,
yeah,
yes. Yeah. So and there was some shenanigans around, and we could see more of that in this game as well. So though they are taking champs, they could go various directions. As you know, I know, Clement, that you've seen a ton of Karthus bot later time.
I'm not that old, or at least I don't remember anything like this, but it's gonna be fun. There's a lot of death happening right there, and a lot of revival from both of these champions, so that might be a theme. And the other places, we're finally gonna settle roster from Team Zod. It is gonna be Graves jungle and Karma in the mid lane, and we also have a Silas Taric potentially going bot. So this bot lane looks incredibly interesting. I feel like Team Zod has a lot of engage potential, a lot of sticking power, while Team Nash is just like, well, if you want to find me, I'm gonna stay here and put a lot of circles on the ground. So I feel like both of them counter each other quite well. Like if Team Nash gets ahead, they can withstand anything. They don't even mind if their support dies. They probably welcome it. While Team Zod has just amazing engage potential and also invulnerability.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be thrown around by the side of Team Nash. Right? You've got bushes, you've got an ice field, you've got a death circle, and those bushes are actually quite in, because you could potentially, if the Karthus is in the bush, you're going to be just walking into that Karthus damage without really expecting it. So, that could be a strategy as well. Just it's sort of a weird submarine composition, right? We're in the bush of nowhere and see who walks in.
I have a feeling that Viego once again is going to be roaming around a lot. We saw this in game 1 coming from the side of Team Zod as well, where they just left Shun in the bottom side, and then they had a roaming support with Kino the entire time. So maybe something similar is going to come again, where you have Karthus just in the bot side. It doesn't even matter if he dies. He can still farm. He can still impact the entire map, while Viego just roams around and gets killed.
Yeah, that could very well be the plan here, and it also gives you a jungler that does, well, sort of a jungler that will be looking to gank. As I mean, in game 1, Gemini really pull out all this himself. He ganking non-stop. When we look at season 13 and look at the jungle, it's supposed to be just a farm-heavy approach. You just go camp to camp to camp, just keep doing that over and over and then sprinkle in a couple of ganks here or there. But that was definitely not the approach Gemini was taking.
True. Season 13 jungle changes have been it's been really weird. I think we see the rise of AP junglers the most because right now it just doesn't pay that much to go into the enemy jungle and fight them. Like, you get less from their camps, you take a lot more time actually taking their camps themselves, and because of that, we actually see like AP junglers, Diana, Silas, Mordekaiser, all these champions that, they don't have to fight a Xin Zhao or a Trundle early on. They're suddenly becoming very dominant in the meta.
It's just harder to punish, and also, even if you do end up stealing the camp, you can't actually deny the camp right? Because if you take large raptor, the rest of the raptors will disappear. You can't just deny the respawn like you used to do before. So it does certainly even the playing field in that regard when it comes to a lot of these different junglers, where last year you would look, okay, is this jungler viable? If so, he's really a lot more viable than anyone who's not viable. And this year it's going to be really about, hey, what's our reallocation look? Because I feel like if jungle does get any uptick gold, we could see champions like Fiora or champions have rougher laning phases in that top side, just move into the...
Yeah, certainly possible. Like, the jungle role this season, I would say, like, the early game, you are much less impactful. You are heavily incentivized to just farm up for improved smite. A lot of people are just doing full clears these days. Top lane is getting less impact. You come out of the jungle level 4 and you're 60% HP. You're not even full health most of the time. So it feels like Riot has just come out and said this, but they want to lessen the impact of early jungling. They're kind of severing the ties between jungle and laners, which is so weird because for us old timers, the entire evolution of League of Legends is about how you play with your jungle. And they're just saying, no more Kanabis, okay? Goodbye. So it's really interesting. It almost feels like a flattening in a sense, but then you come out of the early laning phase and then suddenly anything is viable. So I feel like they're crunching down on what can be done in the early game, but they're really opening it up, the table to what can be done in the mid and late phases. That's my general idea, but I'm not like a specific jungle main. I just been playing bruisers the entire preseason. It's been so much fun. Like, if you get Ravenous, Hydra, and Jack Show, you're even, then you snowball super hard. If you're behind, then suddenly you can still team fight. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Jack Show, very, very oppressive. And when it comes to the jungle changes, it has just over the years become such a nickel role, and just understanding where you need to be, and it makes it really hard for newer players to really get or play that role. Like, if you're in a pre-made 5 and no one on your team wants to jungle and you're a new player, you can really get lost in. So I understand why subs have come through, because 13 seasons trying to bring in new players, it can be a little bit difficult, and that is certainly one way to help out the newer player base.
Absolutely. So great changes overall. Hopefully people will pick up the jungle role a little bit more. We're gonna see some kooky level 1s as Yuval coming up with the this is kind of weird. I'm not sure he remembered if he had the passive or not, but that almost makes the 60 gold feel not worth it. I almost feel like they forgot about the passive.
Yeah, it's a little tough. Actually, we see this over in LPL or some other reason.
He's gonna do it again! It's 120 gold! They're genius! Never mind!
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, so AWS presented up with the gold graph, and you can see Yuval right now with 120 extra gold. I thought they were mistaken, but they had everything calculated.
as long as you get that deck on the second time around, certainly worth it. However, they are going to lose the red buff in exchange, and Enzo is only 1v2, which is certainly one of those things that you can do on the Karthus if you ever wanted, because he just has such an incredibly to farm himself with those Skittles. As Gemini is going to come into a bit of a rude awakening, and Ivor's level 1 and those Gem champions that I think of.
Yeah, this is looking like a bit of a disaster. We had a level 1 take of the Wolves right here, and Gemini gonna go back, use his passive. He's gonna catch back up all right. But his bottom side is in absolute shambles right here. So we'll see how he does path around. We do have to go over the lane setups a little bit more because Viego now is actually into the mid lane. Minji does see this gank incoming. Still gonna flash though. That was a little bit weird.
I don't think he saw it.
Yeah, that was kind of a mistake for Minji there, I would say.
You know what? At least for the viewers at home, see that and they're like, man, Minji's just like me. Even though I have a ward, don't look at that ward, and I get ganked from that position. I can be a pro player too.
It happens. Definitely happens sometime. And talking about setup, coming back to this a little bit more, Uniboy is coming in with Predator right off the bat. So he's going to be a ganking Anivia. Of course, he doesn't have the passive, so he does have to avoid the fate that Kino had. We'll see if that happens this game. But super interesting setup.
Is he ganking or going to run at the turret faster?
Oh, Rest actually takes a tower shot, has to flash in for his passive to stay alive, but does work. We have another flash on the other side on Taric, and goodbye, Yubao Anivia. That 120 gold, probably not worth giving up a first blood.
Yeah, if he was able to wait through it and be able to get his passive back, it definitely was worth the trade in regard, but in this case is going to lose out on that, and Gemini, not much he can do. Gets what he can up that top half, gets the Krugs, and this is a tough matchup for an Ivern, mind you, because Graves has been a matchup that has tortured Ivern throughout his inception. This is a gank in the mid lane.
Ninja doesn't have his flash, but does have his
level
knights
2
with him.
Anivia.
He's gonna dodge everything. Wow, it's quite amazing as even Gemini shows him the thumbs up. He just dodged all the skill shots without breaking a sweat.
Gave him this. Be able with the slick shoes slide on out of there without burning anything, and now Kongre is going to have the time of his life, honestly. The Graves is... The reason why Graves is so good into Ivern is, or really good into him, of course, a slight hit on format, is the fact that if he ever walked into Ivern's jungle, the Ivern really do anything. It's still sort of the same deal, right? Ivern still can't do anything into a Graves. It's just that Graves can't just like literally farm every single camp, because it does take him a little more.
We're gonna have a 3-man trio up for Rest. He doesn't have the flash here. We have the wall coming down, pops him into the passive. Going to try to save his teammate. Don't think it's gonna work out, and they get the kill over to Lika. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Enzo getting ganked, and this bot lane is. I think the Silas is getting a little bit out of hand. If I'm on the Silas, I'm pretty okay with that. Wako looking to clean up the pieces here. Kino doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the heal either. Wako, one more hit is gonna take it, And meanwhile, in the top lane, CFO going to go on with this push. Yubao going
This is a
directly
tough
underneath
dive.
the tower. He's going to be taking it up. He's not coming out of this. How many kills can they get afterwards? That's going to be the question. Lee Kai has to flash out, gets out of tower range. Rest still chasing, but cannot find a second target for the stretching arms. Minji going to come in right now, just going to go walk into melee. But Lee Kai able to dodge away. Not for long, though. Minji still has slain the Aurelia, and now Gemini, no mana, just flashes the emote and waits for his fate.
Yeah, no shot. Get out of that one there at the very end. And Team Zod find them a huge turnaround in that particular fight and gives a gold lead, swapping things up. But he still wants more with Nivea.
Oh, they have a game plan. They're just going to keep Lee Kai fed up here. Yubao staying around the situation. Like, can they actually stun? No! He gets out with the jump. I don't think that's enough. Yeah, it isn't. And he's out. Enzo only gets a bit of money there from the first strike, but not enough for the kill. This is like the third Anivia gank into the top lane. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yubao's been on a mission. He's been really running around everywhere. As you can clearly see with the levels.
He's up there again! That's the fourth gank. They're not gonna let this top lane play at all. They're going with the extremes of the Karthus strategy. Let's see if he survives another gank. Easy trade this time, 4-1. Doesn't look like Team Nash have enough members to cover this bottom lane. And if we take stock at the trade, like I have to ask you, which side do you favor, the Fed Aurelia or the Fed Silas?
Yeah, it's definitely to really
Let's see if Wako can make it out of this one. He still has his flash, so he should be relatively okay. As Gemini going to lose another big chunk of his jungle. Raptors and Krugs simply are not his. He's going to have to find a return on that one. But he is falling behind, about 4 camps behind at this point.
Yeah, and going back to what you were, while I do think Silas can have a massive impact in a game when he is snowballed, there's also a difference in who's champions, right? It is an 80 carry with his hands onto the Silas, so maybe not as clear, even though his hands are pretty damn good. But on the flip side, you have Lee, a top laner, playing a top champion in Aurelia, so I think familiarity is going to give.
Oh, the stun does go through. Wako taking tower shots. Ult misses. Minji with the outplay is going to get the red buff. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, CFO up to their old tricks, and Silas up to 3 kills. This is looking to get out of hand for Team Nash right here as they pick up the Constellation Herald.
Thing though, the fact that at the very least, Enzo on this Karthus, you know he dies. He's still a clear out the minions. He's full to slow down their builds to really hand home that lead. You look at this Spark has plates on it, whereas top side it's getting for that to fall in favor of League.
Yeah, Rest just cannot catch a break. He actually jumps back in to see if he can pick up some of those pieces. They just take him down quite easily. That's going to be first brick gold over to Team Nash. They are picking on a tank, but I would say it is working, and they are creeping towards that Blade of the Ruin King double power spike. Coming in from both the Viego and the Aurelia at the same time. That's going to be very tough to deal with if your team's on.
Yeah, they don't really have a second match unless if it is going to be Shun. So this is the first
coming in is going to land the abduct and make very short work of Aurelia. Goodbye. Minji now chasing through, does find the tether. Red buff on Kongria. Wako might have to flash away, but it just isn't enough. Collateral damage takes him down, and this is getting really interesting here. Where we have Team Zod with that super fed Silas, super powerful Karma, just starting to move out on the map. Goal difference brought to us by AWS. We can see it's just kind of a seesaw here, going back and forth. U-Ball.
This is a while ago.
Yeah. Oh, it was so close, but good flash here coming in from the Anivia. Even with the taunt emotes, that's just cool.
There we go. Yeah, now Lee Kai is in a bit of trouble.
Oof. Does flash away for now, but he has nowhere to go. Flashing from Kongyue, and they take down the kill. This is really getting out of hand. Aurelia was power fed by Yubao constantly roaming to this top lane, but the gank squad from CFO just hurts that much more. With the Karma, they're able to tower dive so easily.
And it's going to be what looks like a tank Karma build. I believe it's going to be the Radiant Virtue. From that, of course, could just end up being just a bunch of parts going into different things, but that's what it looks like, most likely. It's going to provide a ton of healing, and when you combine that on top of, you've got a Tarek, you've got a Zac, you've got Graves, who's most likely going for drain tank options here. It's going to be tough to kill the Zod squad.
Nobody expects the Anivia ganks coming through, but they don't actually get the Eon! So Rez is able to escape. Meanwhile, CFO going into the mid lane. Wako gets tagged by the Abduct, has to flash away. Whew. Lateral damage plus ignite, not going to be able to finish him off. And this is going to be actually a fairly even trade. Neither side getting the kills necessarily. But on the meantime, Team Nash actually going to be able to finish off that bottom lane tower. So probably a little bit more advantageous to the blue team here.
You can see how committed he is to this playstyle. Has the Predator, has the mobility boots of all things, and really no damage.
I just want to laugh. We were talking up the mage changes so much. It's like, oh, Archangels, oh, Rod of Ages. Never mind, it's Predator, Roam only, Anivia. It's great to see creativity in game as we go for another invulnerable tower dive. That is just rough. Let's see if the Requiem gets anything. Kino very low at this point. Shun might finally go down. He has a big shutdown there. Lee Kai picks up the kills, and they're going for more. Kongyue with the white flags. Let's see if Ivern can make the chase. They're going all the way. In comes Lee Kai, but he might just fall down right there. Finds the stun, giving Wako some leverage into the bot side, and the cleanup crew is here. Another teleport expended. This is not where you want to be, Raz. He tries to jump out, but he's just going to give over the passive to TP and his life over to Team Nash.
Oh my god, that was an Wako, he wants more.
Oh, nobody expects the Viego coming in onto that one. Minji's gonna pick up the kill, but that was not worth it for Team Zod. A huge chain of shutdowns here. Silas going down, Rest expending everything. You gotta feel like Team Nash is now firmly back into this game. They found two very successful trades at the same time.
And the big thing is, get first tower, they have a 2 advantage, and that actually gives them the gold, even though they are down 3 kills, even though this Anivia has just been on perma roam duty. You can see some of that, having the Karthus farm 1v2 start paying off because of the fact that they're able to just funnel to a degree into this Karthus. Even though he's constantly dying, he is able to still get the experience.
We talked about the invulnerable team fight from Team Zod here, but Team Nash is also gearing up to be a very grindy team fight team. Tons of sustain coming out, lots of HP percent damage from Karthus, from Viego, from the Aurelia. It does feel like even if Team Zod get the engage that they want, it's going to be hard to out-sustain teamfight this one. I wonder what their plan is going to be as they fly towards the bot lane looking for Wako here. Minji is going to provide the speed up. Let's see if they can find the tether onto Wako. Speed is coming through. They don't get the slow. And Viego going to be able to waste a lot of time. Shun going in with a ton of burst damage, but he's right underneath tower, and that's another kill over to Leakai as he chases his down. Conqueror already proc. Kino has to run for the hills here. He is going to get some help from Kongria, but can he save his life? Going down with the Vanguard, and Kongria has nowhere to go. He's just going to fall down once again. That's a triple kill to Leakai! And Aurelia is online!
Yeah, give a laner a fed top lane champion. You get an absolute nightmare. That's what you're getting here as rest is. He's in there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to accomplish much. Let's see if he can take down Gemini. He's very low, but he's got his shield, and he does fall. But I'm not sure you want Leakai that fed. You can't deal with him anymore. Shun coming in, low mana onto Leakai. Invulnerability has to be used by Kino just to keep his AD carry alive, or his mage alive, I should say. 3v1, they're finally going to take it down. Kino nearly drops as well, but they get the shutdown. After 4 consecutive kills onto Aurelia, the rampage is over. Shun, however, looking for more, and this time he's not underneath towers. A very clean kill with the abduct. Wako tries to take him on, but doesn't have the sets. He finds the abduct once more, and he gets the double kill. Just the point blank anticipation, and the emotes come out.
Shun really flexing that his, auto knowledge is greater than Wako's, as he absolutely is him there. As we get to see the replay, Shun does go down in this instance because he is just caught under tower. The tower helping out in that regard, and now Leakai, I mean, he's still fed Irelia, right? And he's gonna trickle in sort of one very easy for just keep churning out the damage. And Kino, we saw this a little bit in the previous game, a lot more in the previous, but Kino goes down.
I have to say, Team Nash just has better coordination. Throughout these 2 games, it's been them roaming across the map. We're going to get a player gold count brought to us by AWS, and look at the charts. It's going to be Leakai and Shun, the 2 power-fed members across different sides of the map, taking our top spots across the board. And I think this game is going to come down to these 2. It's going to be the Aurelia versus the Silas carrying the majority of the damage for their teams. Whoever comes out ahead, whoever can snowball the most kills, is going to take their team towards victory. Wako in the bottom side now. Rest had a very stunted laning phase, so it does look like Wako is going to have a rather easy time, at least for the time being now, but he senses danger coming across the board. Shun coming in. Let's see if he can find the abduct, or is he even going to try? Nope. He's just going to keep himself hidden.
Kino, he's in trouble.
He has to flash away from that one. Leakai hot in pursuit right here, and Rest has nowhere to go. Rest doesn't really want to show himself. Minji coming in with the Radiant Virtue. He's going to have a lot of healing, but I don't see them having the damage right now against Leakai. He's just going to go in head first. Ultimate down already. Shin on the menu. That's the main damage dealer going down. Minji does a lot, but cannot keep himself or his teammates alive right here. They jump in and they go straight into a Taric ultimate right there. Team Nash is going to suffer some casualties. They walk away with most of them. Oh, another kill found by Kongria. Just as I say that, they really want to get Leakai into the fight, but the rest of the members are just dropping. Minji going to get stunned down. He flashes away, but Leakai still has another charge onto him. Kongria is unfortunate to be right next to the Aurelia. That flash was honestly quite questionable from Minji. And beyond, Team Zod's entire offense is going to fall into pieces. Nivea doesn't care about that one. He's doing a lot of damage, so I don't think the kill's going to come through. Is Enzo just going to let him die? Is that the plan right here? Enzo wants some extra gold. Okay, he's going to save the Nivea, but Leakai going in for more. It's a 1v2 he's taking. He is knocked up, but it doesn't matter. He's just too far ahead.
You just can't fight this Aurelia once those stacks ramped up all the way. Like, there's just really no chance. Leakai in perfect position to fully carry this game. 2-0 close. So Team Zod, if they don't want those emotes in game, gotta pull comeback. We were talking about it. We're objective steal.
Oh, the Konger goes in, but doesn't find the Baron steal here, and they also lose their jungle in the process. Wako being very cheeky, just rubbing the salt in the wound at this point, and Team Nash just running away with this game so far. It might be a little bit early. I didn't want to ask this early, but who are you going up for your 1v1 player if your team's on? Goal difference overtime brought to us by AWS. We can see it swinging all the way for Team Nash, proving himself to be the perhaps better coach in this one. Gemini might be too far ahead of the pack. He does go down, but Likai's going in. He's 1v4 in this situation. Tons of CC dropping on him, but he has so much sustain. He takes down Jin. He's still going with the Q, with the Conquer. Finally gets taken down by Res. That was a close call, and now they're moving on to Yuval. Can't find the target just yet. Wako's still having a fun time in the bottom lane. It looks like they're going to let this Anivia fall, and that is the offense stopped here by the side of Team Zot.
Yeah, honestly, that was a bit of a test coming in from Team Nash, just seeing how strong this Likai Irelia was, and it was quite strong, but not exactly 1v5 strong, as it does eventually go down, and now going to have Zod now on soul point. So, you know, there is certainly a win condition here for the side of Team Zod. They've got incredibly powerful Silas, getting a lot of damage out here in these fights, and a lot of ults willing to take with Hearth Assault available. As we get to see the replay of the fight, honestly, Irelia did it. Very nearly did it. Just one more reset, and it was probably a done fight.
Gemini died early, and I think Yubo actually had some mana issues right there. Wako going in too far. He is going to be bailed out by his own ultimate. Stay safe for now. And I think Team Nash has learned their lesson. Probably not challenge a 3v4 like that one. Just group up, take the full fight at this point. You don't need Likai as Raid Boss mode. They're gonna try, but with the full team here, I don't see teams not being able to take it. Invulnerability has to be popped here just to keep their members alive. And now Team Nash senses blood in the water. They're chasing up towards the base, towards the high ground here. They still have great ways to section members off. Like, if you go too close, Anivia could do great amount of work in front of this inhibitor tower. They also have the brushes here, so it's a very difficult situation for Team Zod to hold on to this bottom side. Any amount of crowd control could be lethal at this point. So they're kind of splitting up at this juncture here. They're trying to make sure that it's just not going to be a one and done deal here in the bottom side. Meanwhile, it looks like with the Baron running out, Team Nash also is going to take a breather, going to reset. They have all the vision control they want. They can just wait.
Yeah, we'll see if they try and make a big, or try and force the issue with one of these Hex Tech Gate ganks here, but it doesn't look like it's. The ultimate toss down by Shun, probably ticking down in that instant. And I mean, Enzo, he's been doing fantastic. He got pressured a lot during the early phases of the game, but he is perfectly fine. Like, he throws down the ultimate, makes like 300 gold. It's really for this Karthus with first strike to keep pace with gold income because of what he's done with his, route.
It's absolutely hilarious. He buys the death cap, instantly goes for the damage test. It's like, how much do I actually do with this one? Let's see. The answer is actually surprisingly little. I thought he would do more to Kongre, but Kongre seemed absolutely fine here. Question is, how are you going to take down Likai with that much sustain? Rest going in. That was very ballsy. He's going to get stunned up on the side here. Falls down to half HP. Tark has to pack.
Oh, Shun?
The ultimate here, but Anivia just goes in way too early. Yubao, he's not been having a great time, and Shun now facing the front. Likai still on the sides here, not yet joining the fights. We have Team Zod charging forward, but can they get away from Lee Kai? They're going to have to turn around, and they're going to have to focus everything. Lee Kai knows about this. He's going to back out just okay, and they're going to go in with Wako first, giving Lee Kai that perfect opportunity after all the crowd control is off. This is going to be a cleanup coming in from the Blade of the Ruin King. Lee Kai is chasing down all the members at this point. Can Minji get away? He misses the slow. Lee Kai goes across the wall. They lose one member, but Kongya is still in danger. They're just waiting for that Q cooldown. Lee Kai can't find it across the wall. Has to turn across to Minji. Minji's not getting out of this one, but they did kite out for quite a while. Kongya trying to stop this minion wave here as the push is going to arrive onto the inhibitors. And we do have the Drake coming up very soon as well. So Kongya really has to escape this one. White flag already shown. It's going to be inhibitor.
It is going to be the inhibitor. First, they could look for that dragon right towards here. Wako goes for a little bit more.
Gets stunned up. Lee Kai going back in again, and look at Kongya melt. Kino's gonna be second.
Could just be it.
He does ult out. Rest coming in. He is going to stop the push for now, but I think with Minji they should be able to
turn.
Ooh,
they
got the kill here. Kind of greedy, and that leaves the Drake up. So with the Hextech Soul, yeah, that's actually pretty huge. You deny it from Team Nash, you get that extra attack speed here.
Or it's a trap.
Do they anticipate the brush? Minji's gonna get stunned. The knockup's gonna come through by Daisy. Yubao coming in, and they fall for the trap. Now Shun has to claw back the situation, but he's getting hemmed in on all sides. He misses the abduct, and down he goes. That's Hextech Drake gone. The brush play works.
Oh, the sneaky brush play coming in from Gemini. The wily of the old veteran. Fit in handy right there. Setting up the bush, throwing in Daisy, shooing them away, and then the pincer comes in from behind. Get those kills. And now Team secure themselves their first Hex Tech, but more importantly, it denies a win condition for Team Zod, who are down 9k gold. So it is not looking great for the side of teams. Push us to a game 3, and it's looking more like we're going to have to look for that 1v1.
Yeah, and we do have Team Nash now starting on the Baron. Kongya can't get across the wall here. He does have the Blast Cone. Not going to use it, though. That could just have been GG if he died. So, even held on to the collateral damage. That was a very safe play coming in from Kongya at that point. Very much aware of the possibility of just insta-kill right afterwards. The thing I'm looking at here is there just isn't enough sources of grievous wounds. Only 2 sources across the board in that Ignite and the Putrefier here. So Lee Kai is just has so much leeway. As long as Team Nash doesn't split, I don't see how they lose these team fights. Would find out.
Don't have the damage and.
Oh, a great Anivia wall, actually stopping the entire engage. 2-man stuck on the top side of this wall. They go down instantly. Shin already dead. That's their main damage dealer, and Team Nash is looking for the finishing blows here. Wako jumps in with the Zac stolen E. They get the root down. 3 members flying in, and most importantly, Lee Kai falling up after the Requiem is going to deal massive damage. Minji trying to kite the team away. Lee Kai is happy to oblige as the rest of the members are just tearing into the base right now. Team Zod looks like they don't have the fight in here. They're going to have to rely on the 1v1 modes, and they are going to have a trap set here on the side of Team Nash, showing Minji no mercy as he just accepts his fate. In the meantime, we only have Enzo trying to finish off the base, but he should be able to do it. And congratulations to Team Nash. They're going to take the 5v5 portion in stride, a clean 2-0 over Team Zod. Victory presented by Mercedes-Benz, and what a game that was. Interesting strategy. We had a lot of back and forth. We had teams trading sides to further their carries, and it looks like Aurelia with Lee Kai came out on top.
Yeah, Aurelia in the hands of their top laner really in that regard. And unfortunately, on the flip side, even though the Silas did get ahead, did a lot of work, it's just too tough to deal with, and they just had so much magic damage in that composition that it became nigh impossible to then take care of the that was just so durable, along with having damage.
U-Ball also putting some nice finishing touches on the game as well, with a beautiful wall across and just sealing the game right off there. So, first off, talk a little bit about implications. We do have to congratulate Team Nash here. He has proven himself to be the better Summoner's Rift coach with a clean 2-0 in the 5v5. And with our format, we still will have a game 3, but this is going to be in a different area of the game. Both teams have to select a 1v1 champion, send them into the ring, and see who can perhaps take a little bit of retribution in a different arena.
Yeah, the 1v1 player was already chosen before coming into the 5v5 portions, and it is going to be U-Ball Rest. So, should be pretty fun. Rest, of course, the most mechanical top laner, especially AM moving back over to the LPL. Unfortunately, but
will be missed.
U-Ball, he is not too shabby mechanically as well, though you didn't really get to see that in that preview. Really just running around trying to find stuns and walls onto people.
I still maintain that Rest is the best carry top laner that we have in our region. It might be a little bit hard to tell from these two games, but he's been basically put on tank duty. Can't wait for the 1v1. I feel like Rest has a lot of rage burning in him right now that he needs to release. So I just can't wait to see what he actually pulls out here. Coming back into this game, back and forth early game, but once it got to those team fights and Lekai just being unleashed across the map, it seemed like a one-way affair.
And up to the 20-minute point, it was under 3k gold lead. And after that, it was just not even close. Once Lekai actually got that first fight, he just absolutely took him in. It's like they had a pretty well executed plan. They had an idea with what they wanted to do with this composition, just try and play drain tank, and clearly it was going to be Lekai with the MVP. He really just did it all by himself.
He is the king of the kickoff and our 1+ MVP player of the game. 17 kills right here, much better stats in game 1. Also a consecutive MVP. Great job done by Lekai. I also want to mention that this is a great way to start the split for him. He was our most improved player in 2022, coming off the bench, fighting all the way from Beyond Gaming to become a starter and to take an amazing finish over PSG. So I just want to say that, we had a lot of doubts with him. Maybe his first season of Beyond Gaming, a lot of people kind of saw that as a fluke, but he has proven himself to have those carry chops. He's done it against the best in our top lane carry against Rest, and I hope he has an amazing split ahead of him.
Yeah, and he looked bounce back from his Worlds performance as well. Didn't have that showing there. You could certainly fact the meta wasn't quite in favor in that regard, but looking for, he's a young player, and when you watch him, he plays with such joy that it probably way on much in the fact that he did best of showings at Worlds, and he looks like he's just one of those teammates you just want to have because of how he always looks.
If there's anything you want to remember from our 5v5 version, Lekai is a name to be remembered, to be looked at when we finally start our 2023 regular season. But for now, that's all the 5v5. We're taking a short break, and coming back, the solo bolo duel commences.
turn a big dream to a big profit. We got big bags, they got big problems. Oh, they been mad that we been got it. I turn a big dream to a big profit. I turn a big dream to a big profit. Let's go. Hey, out here on a money mission. Throwing shade, trying to block the vision. What? Too much on the line, no, I can't be timid. They see the work, gotta hate, we waiting. Okay. Yeah, I know they notice me, you notice me. Hey, hands ain't know to me. Sitting pretty at the top where I'm supposed to be. They wanna hate, I'm at they neck like a rosary. We got big bags, they got big problems. Oh, they been mad that we been got it. I turn a big dream to a big profit. I turn a big dream to
You are watching the season 2023 season kickoff, and we are moving on away from the 5v5s to the mano a mano solo duel time. We have Rest coming up against Yubao, formerly known as Uniboy, heading towards the Rift. We're going to go over the formats, we're going to go over the histories of these players, but first off, introduction to my co-caster. It's going to be Nice Star for now. He's having a little bit of a lag on certain servers, so we're just going to have a pretty picture of his face. I'm actually pointing the wrong way over here. How are you doing, Night Star? And what do you think about 1v1s in general? What's your strategy? What would you pick for 1v1s?
I mean, it's going to look a little different in this PCS show. Oh, what some of our viewers might have seen in others. It won't actually be on the ARAM map, and it will be on Summoner's Rift. So you're not gonna have the time, right? You're not gonna have that 7-minute murder circle slows in. So the strategy differs quite a bit, right? Because over in you can, okay, if I stall all the way to the 7-minute mark, then I pick a champion that has, you know, some sort of ability to boot him out of the circle. That converts into a win.
Yep.
That ability to bail out in this situation. So I'm interested to see. This would be cool.
We could have a brothers war coming in here. Yone versus Yasuo. And just to talk about some of the points that we went over, it is going to be the regular Summoner's Rift map. That means the tower is much harder to take down. In terms of the win conditions, it's play to 100 CS, take down the enemy tower, or get the first solo kill. So I think realistically, get the first solo kill is what players are going to have to look at on this map, like because all of the differing factors that you mentioned, tower being harder, there's no like closing of the circle at the very end, so it might be a bit more advantageous to ranged champions now that they don't have to face that final burnout, that ring that everyone has to play around on the ARAM.
Yeah, and that might potentially be how will actually end up going. And we'll see what they actually settled on.
Oops.
It's actually going to be Xin versus Annie.
There's no elongation here.
Yeah, it really is just going to boil down to, you know, for Yubao, it's hitting level 6. For Rest, he's got some pretty good trade-offs in between.
This is a friendly match. You can tell here, neither of them attacking each other. They're just sharing their moment together on the Rift. I will say that in this setup particularly, I think ranged champions do have a lot more zoning power compared to the sort of ARAM map. So I do expect them to be stronger given this setup, but we're only going to get one match. It could be over really soon. And as we all know about Xin Zhao, he's looking at that level 2 burst, and he's not looking to play with Tibbers at all.
Yeah, he's got both players have flashing them, so there's gonna be that bailout factor of having, you know, an exhaust for extra dueling potential. It's really all about that one-shot wonder, trying to make sure you get the kill right off the bat. And
this is kind of cheeky. I'm not sure if this is specifically allowed or disallowed here, but he's gonna try and get a level 1 cheese coming in. He's in, put some damage onto Yubao, 2 hits. Doesn't proc the 3 Talon Strike, and actually comes out a little bit worse on that trade here.
That said, he does have he has a little bit of that sustain. If you have some mana sustain and Rest with the dash once more, and Rest is also going to have some sustain built in from his passive as well. So he's gonna probably play maybe a little bit of game, but he definitely doesn't want to wait till that level 6 breakpoint. So he can patience, but of course level 6 is where And needs to start looking a little bit better in some of these trades.
Yeah, and I feel like Annie mechanics have changed a lot since you've last seen her. Level 3 all in, but Yubao perfectly anticipates that with the stun going down. With the Molten Shield, she actually gains a bit of movement speed right now, so can definitely play a bit of the kiting game with Xin Zhao here.
Yep. Yeah, honestly, the little changes are really cool, and also just the fact that she can put it on an ally, right? So she has some utility from, probably anyone saw her.
Ignite goes down. Russ is going to head for the brushes. This is going to be very hard to chase for a range into a melee match. I mean, it looks like Yubao is not going to even go for it. And just go back into the laning phase. See, the lane is still pushing towards her, so, she could decide for a back or just go full push. Looks like she's going to full push it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be the crash here. And it's going to be purchase of sides. And interestingly enough, Press actually doesn't have much money to work with. So he just comes with a full set of potions. And of course, the potions did get nerfed a little bit ago, coming in just to try and nerf sustain sweeping chain. It's not gonna be as oppressive, and it's really like is in a great spot here because he is able to get himself a second Dorn's ring, a lot of power, sheer stats coming out for Yubao on this Annie.
Russ pretty much is playing to kill Yubao within this ignite timer difference. Like, if the game drags on, it's just way too far away. So, I think the level 6 is going to be quite huge. He does have the flash, which means that he could potentially get some sort of a Zinsec onto Yubao. Maybe that's the plan coming in here. Oh, he's going in right now with the level lead. But Yubao, once again, just holding onto those stuns whenever he sees the Xin Zhao coming in.
This is a pretty rough position here for Rest, and he is going to go back and purchase it really for what I'd imagine for one last all-in here. Both boards hurtling toward that sort of conclusion, and Yubao is going to do the same, just making sure that he maintains that slight edge. And items, not sure what are you. Okay, he actually far enough to get himself a third Dorn's ring.
Alright, super interesting. Rest is going to hit level 6 before Yubao gets his Ignite up, I believe. So this is the big window everyone's looking for. And we do have to remind everyone, without the Ignite, Xin Zhao does have a surprising amount of sustain. Of course, Yubao is going to know about this, and because this is not the standard ARAM map, there really isn't that much distance until a ranged champion can just get underneath tower. The rest already level 6. He's looking to get all in. Does have that flash. Here he goes. 3 Talon Strike is not going to land. Stunned up once again. Rest walks back, but cannot find the target.
Yeah, and Yubao is just so damn tanky with the triple Dorn's, with, of course, the Molten Shield. So just so much power here. And getting to that stage where he could just farm out this game, play for the long mission.
Oh, that's gonna be so boring. I need fights. I need fights. I don't want that to happen.
The issue is for Rest completed a drinker, so he's trying to play slow game as well. Unfortunately, behind like this, you just need to force the all in, and semi-freeze here is going to help him in trying to catch up and even things out. And Yubao then to try and look for an all in. Yeah,
this is pretty huge for Rest. If he can keep the wave here, like, he should be able to nestle some of the CS lead back here, and also
quad rings.
Well, it looks like Yubal's not progressing any further, so he's just happy to sit on these items till the very end. but it's not even guaranteed he would win this CS war. Look, he's been denied a lot of minions. However, it is pushing towards towards him. I'm going to be very upset if they just play this slow. Rest is going to find the wind becomes lightning onto Yubao. Could technically go back in again, but it's not going to take that one. As Yubao now farms up with the stun. And Rest find the all-in. He is going to flash in. Tibbers comes down. 3 talent strike. Ignite goes down. The W lands at first blood. Rest does it. He manages to get the kill. Yubao flashed way too late, and he wasn't out of range of the W. Despite the heavy early game deficit, Rest still clinches as the 1v1 clean. Congratulations to Rest, getting back some lost honor for Teams On.
Manages to find the kill out of seemingly nowhere in that instance. The last, it really was the tip of that W. That very end that finished it off. Tough pill to swallow for Yubao, but of course, I'm sure he didn't have many expectations going into that. I don't know. Well, it felt like with that many Doran's rings, like if you're not in Lord of the Rings, I don't think you need that many rings.
I felt like Yubao was just kind of caught off guard. He didn't see the full engage on the first time around and just thought he would be fine the second one. He flashed extremely late, did not avoid any of the damage. And, he only got 1 rotation off with against 5 or 6 auto attacks coming in from the Xin Zhao. So I felt like he just, if he just matched flash the first time Rest flashed in, I think he would have been fine.
Yeah.
And I think he would have been able to extend that one far longer than he did.
Yeah, if he was able to get out of that fight and reset, it was really odds in where it would be in his favor after that.
Yeah, you would have been able to use Tibbers, get a little bit more damage in, and even just like kind of walk it off, especially the ultimate part. So that was a little bit weird, but we have to congratulate Rest. I feel like his strategy overall was correct. Like he went in for a lot of trades just to get the HP low, and I like the Hex Drinker. The Hex Drinker is it's just so difficult to beat in terms of value when you're going up against a mage in that situation. Like he didn't even need the passive, to be honest. It's just enough for the Xin Zhao damage. So there we go. It's different situations. I really rated ranged being much stronger in this particular setup, but I'm glad to be wrong. Rest, our 1v1 king, our top lane, lord of the carry, once again down to save us plebs and to put a very nice end of the season 2023 kickoff in the Pacific Championship Series. We got 3 very fun matches coming in, and we still have some time, so I wanted to kind of talk to you about all of these changes in season 13 specific to our region, and what are you most excited about in the incoming split 1 of the PCS?
Yeah, I'm certainly interested in the teams that are most likely going to be joining. We don't have a ton of finalized information as far as who's going to the league, but we get to see some highlights. So that very end, as wasn't quite able to make all the numbers calculations, right?
Goes in, waits for the stun.
Yeah, disengaged there, and this is like after Rest flashed in. That was where you identified, and I think people see that, hey, that was the moment where you just match flash for flash and you're probably fine.
Yeah, he definitely could have kited that out further. We didn't even really see the 3 talent strike go through on the knockup. It was just a raw auto attack damage. And congratulations to Rest once more. Talking about the new teams that you say coming in, for me, PSG, they've already announced their roster. I think this is a team that everyone wants to look at because they've always made big changes year over year.
Yes.
And this time around, as we said at the start of the show, Ozzy coming in, Pretender coming in, full 5-member swaps. Is PSG your team to watch in 2023, or do you have another candidate?
Well, I think the front runner as far as looking to take has to be CFO, right? Where they still have Shun on the roster.
True.
They still have rest. We'll see what happens with the Gemini situation, but they've also brought in Jimian.
Yeah.
Right. So Jimian coming in from his stint overseas in NA, played in the academy system. He got a lot of extra experience. It's quite not. You can kind of debate if it was tier 1 or not, right? Being in the academy system, if it's more valuable or less valuable playing in the PCS, but it's still a lot of elite experience against the main roster of LCS, right? So I think the expectations are going to be MSI for that squad.
All right, we had it right there. The two teams to look out for from our casters, PSG and CFO, coming into the 2023 season. We will be starting the PCS again after the Lunar New Year, so it's going to be a while before we see all of you, but we cannot wait. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Nightstar, for accompanying me on this season kickoff journey. It's been Clement, and it's been the PCS. We've had a lot of fun. See you around when the season actually starts. Goodbye.